So good morning or good afternoon everyone. So today we will be discussing the module number 7, lesson number 2, which entitled Determine between what two consecutive integers the square root of a number. So example is square root of 12. So the task here is to identify the perfect square integer between square root of 12. So to begin with, um, so we have the given 12. So first is you identify the numbers, the next perfect square number above 12 and the next perfect square number before 12. So we have 12, 13, 14, 15, then 16. And 16 is a perfect square. So we end here. Next, 12, we have 11, 10, 9, and 9 is a perfect square, so we end here. Therefore, the two integers which are perfect square between square root of 12 is square root of 9 and square root of 16. So our answer would be, therefore, allow me to use these three dots that to determine that we are trying to say that it is therefore, square root of 12 is between square root of 9, which is equal to 3, and square root of 16, which is equal to 4. So going back on our previous lesson, so how do we identify the square root of 9? So square root of 9 is just 3, the square root of 3 squared. So that is equal to 3, or 3 times 3 is 9. So 16 is 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, that is how to answer square root of 12. So next example. Square root of 18. So we have the given square root of 18. So identify first the two integers before and after 18 which are perfect square. So we have 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 is a perfect square, so end here. Next, before 18 is we have 16, 14. 16 is a perfect square, so we end here. It's not 14, it's 15. So we end here. So we have 16 and 25. So therefore, square root of 18 is between square root of 16, and 16 is square root of 16 is equal to 4 squared, so therefore 4 is our answer. And square root of 25, square root of 25 is 5, square root of 5 squared, so therefore 5 is our answer, and that is now the final answer. Therefore, square root of 18 is between square root of 16, which is equal to 4, and square root of 25, which is equal to 5. Okay, next example. We have the square root of 40. So, it's a bit big number. So, there is also a strategy, on a simpler strategy between that. So, you must know the multiplication table. Kindly look at this one. So, the given is square root of 40. So, before 40, what is the perfect square can be found in the multiplication table? Can we look at on the green colored boxes? So we have 40 here between 36 and 39. So we could say that therefore square root of 40 is between square root of 36, and square root of 36 is 6 times 6. We have 6 here, and square root of 49, and square root of 49 is 7 times 7. So we have that answer. So there are two strategies on identifying what are the two integers between a square root of a number. First is what I did a while ago by listing the numbers. And second is by looking at the multiplication table, which is a bit easier compared to the first method. So next, let's try simplifying irrational number. So it is not part of lesson number 2, but I would like to introduce this one. So simplify irrational number, square root of 12. So first, we have square root of 12. How are we going to simplify this one? Now, kindly look at for the given 12, what are the numbers that what are the factors of 12 wherein one of the factor is a perfect square? So, if we are going to find the factors of 12, we have 1 and 2. 1 and 12. So, we have 1 times 12. But no factors here are perfect square. So, therefore, we're not going to use this one. Next, what are the other factors? We have 3 and 4. 3 is not a perfect square, but 4 is a perfect square. Therefore, we could use 3 and 4 as our factors. So we now have square root of 3 times 4. Then, separate the radicals to each of the number. We have square root of 3 times square root of 4. Next, square root of 3 will remain square root of 3 because it is not a perfect square. But square root of 4 is equal to positive negative 2. And all the integers must be placed on the first part of this radical sign. So therefore, plus minus 2 will be placed here and square root of 3 will be moved on the last part. And this is now our final answer. Again, we have square root of 12. Where did we find 3 and 4? We are going to look for the two factors of 12 wherein one of the factor is a perfect square. 3 may not be a perfect square but 4 is a perfect square. Or on the other hand, to check if it is correct, 3 times 4 is 12. So that is correct. Next, separate the radical sign to each of the number wherein we have square root of 3 and square root of 4. Square root of 3 is not a perfect square, so it will remain square root of 3. But square root of 4 is a perfect square, and square root of 4 is positive negative 2. Take note that whole numbers must be placed on the first part or the front part of the radical sign. So we are going to move plus minus 2 on this part and square root of 3 on the other part, on the last part. So this is now our final answer. Next, square root of 18. Square root of 18. Kindly look for the factors of 18 wherein one of the factors is a perfect square. We have 3 times 6. But none of these two factors, 3 times 6 is 18. Yes, it is correct. But none of these two factors are perfect square. So, we are not going to use 3 and 6. Instead, we could use 2 and 9. 9 is a perfect square. 2 is not. At least one of the factor is a perfect square. So, therefore, we are going to use 2 and 9. So, 18 should be 2 times 9. Square root of 2 times 9. Separate square root of 2 times square root of 9. Square root of 2 is not a perfect square, so it will remain square root of 2. But square root of 9 is a perfect square, so it will become plus minus and square root of 9 is 3. Take note, this is an integer, so it must be placed on the first part of the radical sign. So plus minus 3, then the radical would be here, square root of 2. And that is now how to get square root of 18 or how to simplify square root of 18. Next, square root of 40. So 40, what are the radical signs? What are the factors rather in 40? So we have 4 times 10. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 is a perfect square, 10 is not. So therefore, we could use this one. So we have 4 times 10, which is equal to 40. Then separate square root of 4 times square root of 10. Square root of 4 is a perfect square, therefore, square root of 4 is plus minus 2. But square root of 10 is not. So therefore, we could write square root of 10 here. So this is now how to get or how to simplify a rational number. So thank you for watching.